Number 6, right?
A square field has an area of 22,500 square feet. So we'll just do this. We'll just draw a field. And it has 22,500 for the area. To the nearest foot, what is the diagonal distance across the field? Alright, so the area of the field is 22,500. You got to plug that value into the formula for the area of a square to find the length of the side. So a square field, I drew a rectangle, so this is actually a square. So I'll do that and I'll wipe out that line in the middle. I drew a rectangle to start with. So that's closer to a square, not exactly. So if you have the area of a square, area equals side squared. So if area equals 22,500, you would have to find the square root of 22,500 to come up with one side. So on your calculator, square root of 22,500 comes out to be 150. So each side is 150. So if each side is 150 and you're looking for the length of the diagonal, then you would have to do the Pythagorean theorem from there. So it would be 150 squared plus 150 squared equals d squared. So 150 squared plus 150 squared is 45,000. And that's equal to d squared. And it says to find the answer to the nearest foot, so you'd have to do the square root of 45,000. And that comes out to be 212.1320344, but the nearest foot would be 213, or not 213, but 212. And that is choice J. Which of the following inequalities is represented by the following number line? Okay, so we'll pick this apart, and I'm going to make my marker a little smaller, or else this is going to be really sloppy. This here, if it's an open dot, and you're going to the left, that means x is less than 5.
That's what I couldn't remember.
Ah. Okay, so the closed dot here and going to the right would be x is greater than or equal to 5.
Yeah, I couldn't remember that. That's the only reason I missed that one.
Do you remember how to combine them together? By putting the x here. And so that was a negative 5 right there, by the way. So you just put a positive 5, negative 5. And if the sign here is open to the x, you have to put it that way in there. And it's pointing to the x there. So that one turns out to be B. Looks like that's B. Number 12, Andrea wants to fill in 2 sections of her backyard with sod that must be purchased in 2 by 2 foot squares. If the 2 sections measure 30 by 40 feet and 60 by 40 or 80 feet, how many squares of sod does she need to buy? Okay, so if we do this, I can make a rectangle, I think. If I change this to white, it should do it. And these won't be proportional. We'll just make this one of them, and this will be the other, the larger one. Alright, so she has 2 sections, and we're going to make this 30 and 30. This will be 40. 40, and the other one is going to be, we'll just make this 60, 60, 80, and 80. Alright. And you can only buy it in 2 by 2 foot squares. Okay. So if I may take off just one of those, naturally it's going to be a little smaller than that red box there, but if that was a 2 by 2, how many 2 foot sections can I get going this way? Well, I mean, there's 30 feet on that side, and then how many 2 foot sections can I have in 30 feet? 15, yeah, I need a blue marker in here. So I can have 15 sections here, but how many 15 foot sections can I, or not 15, but 2 foot sections am I going to have going up this way?
20.
You'd have 20. Alright, so if I go 15 one way and 20 the other, how many is that?
35. Wait, what do you mean? How many feet or how many?
How many sections? So I have 15 and 20?
35.
So 35. Alright, and then over here, I have how many? Oh, no.
I'm about to say that.
Yeah, you got to multiply those together, so it should be what? It should be 300 when you got to multiply those together. And then for this over here, how many 2-foot sections can I have on the 60? 30. And how many 2-foot sections this way? 40. 30 times 40?
Is 12,200.
1,200. So 1,200 and 300 is 1,500. In the following triangle, what is the value of secant n? So this one up here, cosine refers to secant, but it's going to be the opposite, or the reciprocal of it. 1 over cosine will give you secant. So if you do cosine for the in relation to the angle n, that would be 4 over 2 square root of 5, which reduces to 2 over square root of 5. But you're looking for secant, so you have to flip that, and you're going to end up with square root of 5 over 2. So this one is cosine. This one's going to be tangent. That would be sine. 1 over sine. Alright, so if you start out with PQ minus 3R equals 2, what is the value of Q in terms of P and R? You're solving for Q. So to get Q by itself, you got to move that minus 3R to the right and make it plus 3R. And then divide both sides by P.
Son of a gun.
So Q equals, and the way they have it on here is 3R plus 2 over P. So that would be H. For number 15 here, what is the value of G of 6 over F of negative 5? Well, for G of 6, we'll do G of 6 first, and that's going to be from this function here, 2 to the 6th power minus 4. 2 to the 6th power is 64, minus 4 is 60. So we'll put this on our master fraction here. That's from that.
Oh my God, I didn't know what I did wrong.
F of negative 5. If you plug that in, that's going to be 4 times negative 5 squared minus 5 times negative 5, and then minus 5. So this would give you 100, then plus 25 minus 5. So that's 120. Should be a half. In the following figure, the two horizontal lines are parallel. Which of the following does not equal 180? So we'll check them off one at a time. Start with this one. P plus R. Well, P and R.
Yes.
Well, P and R, if you go this way, I need my laser pointer for this because it's kind of hard to write with such a small area, but here's R, and this angle, same side interior with the R, is going to be supplemental to it. So it does equal 180. Therefore, this angle here is vertical to this one. That means it equals this. So if R and this angle are supplementary, then so is R and P. So that one is 180. So we can check that one off. So we'll go here. P and T. Here's P, and then here's T. Okay, well let's see if we can come up with anything here. T would be vertical to this one, to this angle here. And I'll try to zoom this in a little bit better. That's as far as I can go. Well, maybe a little bit more. Alright. So T is vertical to this one, but we can't make any connection from here to this. I mean, if we knew this were an isosceles triangle or something like that, we can't really come up with anything. So P plus T, I don't see how that's going to be equal to anything at all that's 180. So there's your answer right off the bat. The rest of these should equal 180. If A and B are the two values of T that satisfy the equation T squared plus or minus 6t plus 8 equals 0, with a greater than b, what is the value of a minus b? Okay, well, for 18 you got to factor the left side of the equation. So we're going to factor this out like this. We need two numbers that multiply to get positive 8 and add to get negative 6. So that would be minus 4 and minus 2. You multiply them, you get positive 8. You add them, you get negative 6.
Put the signs. A equals positive 4, B equals positive 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. The answer is F.
Yes.
And I want to punch myself in the face.
Yes, answer is F. And that, like he said, this one's going to be 4 and this one's going to be 2. So if you make this A and this B, you subtract them, you do get 2. A rectangular box has two sides, so I'm going to make a rectangular box. I'll put that there. And two sides whose lengths are 3 centimeters and 9 centimeters. So I assume this will be 9 and this is 3. And a volume of 135. What is the area of its largest? Oh, this is going to be a box. Okay, I see what's going on now. So I've got to extend this back like this and make a box right there. Okay, so we do have 9 and I think we can do 3. It's not really going to matter, but I'm going to make this 3 be just below this. I'm going to scratch this out and I'm going to put the 3 right here. So if we know the volume is 135, to get the volume of this box, you got to multiply 9 times 3 times something we don't know. So divide 135 by whatever 9 times 3 is, which is 27, and you'll come up with the missing dimension of 5. So, what is the area of its largest side? The largest side is going to have the two largest dimensions and lengths on there.
D, 45.
And the answer would be D. That's right, 45. Because of 9 times 5. If you graph the lines 3x plus 2y equals negative 2 and 5x minus y equals 14 on a standard xy graph, at which point will the lines intersect? All this is a system of equations. So if we set them up like this and solve for x and y, that will give us the point. Handwriting is terrible today. I'm going to take the easy route and multiply this bottom one by 2 so I can cancel out the y's. So on the top it would stay the same, and on the bottom you would have 10x minus 2y equals 28. When you add those two together, you get 13x. These cancel, and that equals 26. So x would be 2. And if I plug 2 back into this right here, I would come up with a 6 and subtract it on this side to get a negative 8. And then divide by 2, I should come up with y equals negative 4. So 2, negative 4 is G. On 37, you're going to have to simplify what's going on here. So put the minus c over d on the right side, so you have a over b on the left, then positive c over d on the right. And if you cross multiply, you get AD equals BC. So with that, you have to substitute 7 for BC. So if you put 7 in there, you come up with AD equals 7. And then you have to figure out which of the statements must be true. And because AD equals a constant and AD it's because AD equals a constant that the A and D are inversely proportional. So that would be answer what? C? Yeah.